Who signed off on this in multiple ways? Who thought this was a good idea? Flippin' hell. I better not. If I keep talking, they're going to call the lawyers on me. Thomas Collection Books. Yes, I think we better get into this box, and it's going to reveal some beautiful things from the past. Sometimes to tell a story, you need to have some good evidence and stick to the evidence. Let's see what's in here. Okay, straight. Well, there's actually something here. Yes. That's a very important thing to look at, but that's not the focus of this video. A lot of this stuff was in those merchandise collection videos, but we never really had a close look at the books. Books are very tricky to show because of copyright. And what I'm after is, okay, this is part one of what I'm after. This is really carry on from the My Busy Book AEG thing. That's the My Busy Book that featured Rosie. I told you one of them featured Rosie. That's very nice indeed, but the one I'm after is what I'm calling the core book, the first of the My Busy books. I'm pretty sure I've got it. I'm pretty sure I would have reviewed it on YouTube and would have been very excited. Hopefully, yep, this is it here. It just features Thomas on the front. Okay. These last two books actually had 12 characters. It's interesting as well, considering what's been going on. Okay, this is one that I've probably reviewed because it's been opened up. Oh yes, the audience is always correct. Someone said I did have a Harold in My Busy Books. That's how Harold should look, but we'll get to this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 characters in there. Very interesting, yeah, so I need these for this video.
What's he got in this boxy? Flippin' hell! Look at this old crappy Thomas stuff! All that stuff needs to go to that flippin' tip! I don't know why he's hoarding all this rubbish and stuff in a frickin' bygone era! It's stuff that you just don't see anymore! Oh my flippin' god! He's definitely lost it! He's lost it! He's a flippin' loser! He's a mental case! Anyway, before we go any further in this video, we better put up that frickin' warning! Warning! The warning has been frickin' removed! Oh, what a bunch of BS! Anyway, let's just see what's in this box. Oh, in fact, I might just jump in and just see what's in. Oh, wow! Wow! Oh, wow! Oh, I'm burning! Oh, stop! Oh, stop!
Okay, so I'll put this pile of goodness on top of that there. Noticing I didn't say goodness there. I'll just take that off there. So this is marked as 2012, licensing info. This one's 2015. This one's 2019. And this one's 2023. When I did the review of this All Engines Go My Busy book, it's opened up a can of worms. There's been some very interesting comments said about this My Busy book. I did say that I thought there was only 4 of these books, and I've heard no one say anything different as yet. I still might be wrong. And here are the 4 books here that I've got. Maybe there's others. I hear people speaking about a 2010 variant, but when I look it up, that's the My Busy book that I see. This one is actually licensed 2012. Okay, so I somehow remembered the dates of all these books. But there was a YouTuber who made a very interesting comment about this My Busy book, and I'll put up his name here. His name's Jay, or Piece of J Vay, or VA. And he spoke about what he saw on the back of this My Busy book, and it's something that I missed because when I did the review of this, I got really confounded by what I saw inside this box. And he said, look at the pictures of the engines on the back of this book versus what came out of it. A very, very good observation. The YouTuber Piece of J Vay had me looking very carefully here. Then I went to the My Busy Books website to see how these little characters are represented there, and that's what we're going to look at in this video. And if you didn't see the original review of this My Busy book, I think the best way to describe it is this is so different to what came before. And I could pick up any character here, except for one's sort of been done right. But when you look at what's presented here, it's nothing like the way My Busy books used to be, and that's what's perplexing. Before I do the lineup photo shoot and compare these models here versus what's on the website, I'll go to my local favourite retailer to have a look at the stock levels 7 days prior to Christmas. It's very interesting what's gone on. Well, this footage is 7 days to Christmas at my local favourite retailer, and the Hot Wheels stock has been chronically out of stock in the lead up to Christmas. Nothing's come in, and when I first looked in the last 2 weeks before Christmas, there was a whole stack of 5-packs down the bottom. We're now down to just five packs left. It's amazing. I nearly forgot my favourite saying, you can't make a cent from an empty peg. And again, before Christmas, we've got stacks of empty pegs. I'm sort of not surprised. I've seen this over and over in the lead up to Christmas. It just proves how popular this small $2 toys, that is the Hot Wheels single cars, just an amazingly popular toy before Christmas. And while I'm here, there's one other thing I'll take a look at, and that's the Hot Wheels 20 packs. Now, I had a good look here. I think some new stock has turned up, okay, of the Hot Wheels stock, but what is gone, and I think this is the last pack left. There were stacks of these here, well, 2 weeks back. It's the 20 packs. Oops, get it around the right way. This is the last of the Hot Wheels 20 packs here. Yeah, so the problem of these being broken into has been resolved. I believe there's only, well, basically one person who was thieving from this store. It was a very interesting thing to watch and study over 2023. A better look at the Thomas area. The area it resides in is one cell, and it's the bottom third of this shelving area. The very bottom shelf, it's looking very different. A week back it was stacked all the way to the front. It was also had sets stacked on top, and I keep saying the Percy 6 in 1 set, even in that format, is the one to get. It's good to see the stock selling, but what I'm not seeing is other stock coming in, and we'll see that here in this next shelf. Well, we'll count the Percys soon, but what we're seeing next to the Percy here is basically a whole bunch of empty shelving. That should have Thomas stock. Remember, you can't make a cent from an empty shelf like this. It should be loaded up with AEG motorized or the AEG metal engine, which hasn't been in this store for a long time. Okay, let's count per thief. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Percys left. So it looks like my little prediction that the Percy would sell out by Christmas time is going to happen. And while Percy's the only character here to buy, the chance of the rest of the Percys disappearing by Christmas is very high. Percy for the win. Okay, looking at the screen of my old 2014 Crapple Book Pro. They don't make Crapple books like this anymore. This is nearly 10 years old. It's a frickin' champion, okay? Please, Crapple, go back to building the good old stuff. This is Big W. It's a retailer in Australia. They've got this My Busy book for $14. I notice here it says recommended retail price $21.95. Give me a frickin' break. This My Busy book isn't worth $8, okay? Sorry to say it like that, but I'm saying it as I see it. Now, if I scroll down a bit, it will reveal to us this picture here. This is going to be the focus of this video. It's that picture there. Okay, but you can also see this picture. The root of this picture would probably be coming from, this is the My Busy Books core website in a sense. Look at the price here, it's $14.99. I think this is an American price because it's basically a .com website. Okay, so maybe in America, if you're picking this up for maybe $8, and again, I can see that picture that we like is here. And if I do that, there's that picture again, which is really the one I want to focus on in this video. Now, the challenge today is to line up all the models from the All Engines Go My Busy book to the way they are seen on the website here, and we'll make some fairly harsh comparisons. I can blow this picture up to be full screen, and I can see clearly that my belief is this is a photograph, and I say that because I can see reflections of lights. It's been put into a light box and a picture has been taken. I can see the fact that Thomas and a lot of the other characters there, and James has got lights reflecting in the face. And just talking about the faces here look amazing. But I can also see all the details that are missing from the models that came out of the actual My Busy book All Engines Go box. That's the conundrum of what went on here. Yes, all the models here look nice and gleamy and shiny and pristine, and I thought to myself, have they been done in a 3D program, which is the way a lot of this stuff is done now, so it's absolutely perfect. I think these are models that have been put into a light box, and I say that because of the way the reflections are going on the models. And like even Carly's crane hook and everything, I can see the reflection of it casting a shadow just above her face. So my feeling is this is an actual picture of little models. So yes, when I started to see pictures like this, and these are associated with a lot of the sales pictures on websites that sell this My Busy Book, I tell you what, my frippin' head exploded. Now I'm going to have to be a little bit busy here. I'm going to have to set up a little light studio, or a light box in a sense. I'll clear the decks and prepare for the photography. The main ingredient I need is very simple: white cardboard. Okay, we're getting there, and it's really an exposure nightmare. It's all white, it's all glary, and I've just got to get these in the right order. And boy, oh boy, are we going to have a brain explosion when we see what's going on here. I can tell you, a massive brain explosion. There's a lot of lining up and a lot of little tweaking to do, and I look at the shadows and how things are angled to the dangle, and there's multiple lights coming on. There's actually lights behind, there's lights coming in from the side, there's lights coming in from this angle, there's actually lights coming in on top here as well. And I think when we start to compare what's lined up here versus what we see thrown up online, it may start to reveal a house of horrors that we're dealing with here. And I think we need to ask ourselves why, because it was not like this beforehand. And I think Harold there needs to just creep back a little bit. It's one of these weird things, they seem to be presented in planes and pairs, and just getting that angle of the dangle right, you maybe got to do that and that as well. It's a little bit tricky, but I think we're getting very, very close. Just going back to the reference picture here, and I'm pretty certain we're dealing with two pictures that have been put together, because I look at the way that the shadows have been washed out between Thomas and Diesel, but I see overlapping shadows between all the other characters. And if I look at what I've done, I can see there's basically shadows meshed together between Thomas and Diesel that I don't see on the website photos. This is getting very close to what's seen online, although the elevation of the camera is something like that, because you can see along the top of these models. And when you look down on top, you start to see how it's all out of line, in the sense as some of them are back, some of them are forward. It's very close to what's seen online. Quite challenging, but sometimes it's nice to have a bit of a challenge to see what's going on. And this is the picture I've just taken of the table to try to get as good a lineup with the online photo. I still say we're dealing with two pictures, as in that's one picture there, and the divide is between Diesel and Thomas. This is another picture here, and I say that again, apart from the shadow sort of missing here, is look at Canna. On the table photo I've got here, she's sort of laid back, but on this photo here, it seems like these models here, in a sense, kicked up at the back, or the camera is at a different angle, but this is getting very close. I've just got to get the alignments correct, and I keep getting a measuring stick. I've got inches there, because I don't have to do metric, do I? It's basically 5 inches on that side, but it's 5.5 inches on that side there. So the divide area on the photo is sort of through here, and I've just got to somehow kick all this to the side, and also kick up these models here so they're lining up with what's going on up here. And to do that, it's going to be very simple. I'm just going to put some blue tack, little blobs of it, at the back of some of these models here. I think I've got it just about as good as I'm going to get it, and I will take still photos here, and we will have a bit of a chat about what's going on between one versus the other. Okay, we're just going to look at pictures here. There is an extremely long list you could write of the differences going on between the online picture versus what came out of the box. The first obvious thing to say is these models are facing towards us, so the main thing we're seeing is the face. Yes, the faces are very important. The online picture has what I call hero pristine looking faces, which look amazing. The models, some of the faces were good, and some of them were so-so, but then again, on some of the faces weren't fully painted up. As you can see with the mouths and all, for some reason there seems to be paint details missing on some of the faces. Of course, on the front, the buffer details and coupling details are painted up on the online picture, yet the models had none of that going on, and that is also including the lights. So there's all sorts of things that were not painted up, which have always been painted up on previous My Busy Book characters. It's something that's always been done. It's something we've come to expect. If we go along and just in an overall sense, we say that pictures online show a very glossy, gleamy, almost pristine model. That is a bit unusual. So they're the very hero looking pictures in a sense online. What we see that came out of the box, maybe some of them have got a glossy top. Like I look at Bruno, he seems to be glossy on top, and maybe the top of Thomas's cab is glossy, but the other ones look fairly matte. Looking at each character individually, Canna is unusual because she's very close to the way it looks online. So the model that came out of the box seems to be missing, well, we could say the gloss thing, it might be a windshield above her face, and it looks like maybe light details at the front. She's almost done right, which is the way they should have all been done like. Percy is missing his cab windows and looks like his red stripes across the boiler. I mean, the other thing is the paint jobs on these models out of the box are very, very sloppy. Moving on to Carly, like I said in the review, her boom was painted the wrong colour. We can see the picture online has her correct colours, and we can sort of see that, yeah, her face, it's just not there. You know, we can't see down the side because of the angle of the dangle, but, you know, if Carly was done correctly, it would have been amazing. Moving on to little Sandy, the tiny one. Sandy on the online picture looks amazing with mud splatters, fully painted face, windows that are painted, lights that are painted, little light on top is painted, the stripes, you know, that's how it should have been. It would have been amazing. It looks like it's got different coloured or multicolored wheels, possibly the picture online. What came out of the box was just nothing. It was one of the most disappointing ones. It could have been one of the most amazing. Moving on to Thomas, it looks like, it's weird, the picture online looks like there's the proper blue across the boiler, and of course he's got his cab windows, but when we look at the model, which came out of the box, it's just black across the top, which is wrong. Okay, obviously I don't know, the face looks nice and bright on the picture online. The model one is sad. It's almost creepy in a sense. You can't see down the side. It was missing lines at the back bunker area, and the coal bunker wasn't painted, but you can't see that because of the orientation of the models. Moving on to Diesel. Diesel is a model that should have, in all engines go, purple down the sides. I can't see what's going on in the picture online, but I do know the one that came out of box, well, some would argue, oh, it's been done correctly because it's all black. But, you know, no buffer details. I'm just looking at the face there. It's probably the one which is fairly close to being right in a sense, but strangely not right. Moving on to James. James is missing, well, looking at the picture online, you can see the domes painted, you can see the gold stripe or yellow stripe, you can see the cab windows are painted. It looks absolutely amazing. We can't quite see what's going on the tender side. There should be lines on the side as well, but yet the model that came out of box was really, really rough nut. It really was. Really boring to look at and really, really disappointing. I can't quite see the wheels there either. Yeah, so maybe you can see more than me and you can say, oh, it's got this and got that, and that wheel's painted and that one's not. Moving on to Harold, the picture online shows, I can see the rotor blade tips are red, which is correct. I can see, I think there's a red line there. It's very hard to tell. We can only just see down the side of Harold on the online picture, but we know what came out of the box was really, really boring. There's no red on the rotor tips. There was no red line down the side. It was just the ultimate lazy. Moving on to Bruno, the brake van. And I said, when I looked at that model in the review, I said, wow, if only it had all of its stripes and all. Well, we look at the picture online, and when it's got all those other details, Bruno looks correct. It looks amazing. Just a few bits of extra detail really makes it shine. But also, that piece on top is different. He's got red and black on top, whereas the model that came out of the box is just all black. It's just lazy, you know, it's lazy stuff. Yeah, I mean, Bruno was one which really, if it could have been lifted with that bit of extra detail, it would have been one of the more interesting models that was in this collection. Nia is the last one, and from what I can see there, Nia on the online picture has been done correctly. Okay, we can see the cab windows, I can see the light at the front, I can see, you know, the black striping and stuff that she's got. I can see her, I'll just call it her African colours as well. I think they're all there. And I think the wheels as well. You can see the different colours on the, I call it the flange versus the hub of the wheel. That's the way the My Busy Books toys are done. But when we look at the model that came out of the box, it was really, really lackluster. It was really disappointing. And Nia should have been the one that was the shining example of, wow, look at My Busy Books and look how good their detailing is. I don't understand why all of a sudden we've got stuff that looks like rip-off Dark Side stuff. It looks like, you know, someone just doesn't care. Someone has sadly given the green tick to all this, and I think it needs to be revised. This stuff, bring it back to the toy factory to get painted properly, then ship it out to sell, please. Well, I'll grab all these models out. Maybe we'll do a Harold AEG versus the classic Harold. I think someone was asking about that. Maybe it's worthwhile to make those people happy, hey? I'm just going to quickly look at the back of each of these, and we're going to go back in time. So this is the most recent one, and I think yes, they're nice looking models, but they've been photoshopped on. And look at the size of Sandy there in relation to anything else on here. We know she's tiny. Even Perthy and Harold look like they've been photoshopped into that box. Because put it this way, if they're that big in there, how could you fit the others in there? Okay, so it's all been, look, they just do that because that's the way it's done. Going back a step, remember this map, okay? And I think, looking here, I think it's all a bit too orderly. I think that's all been photoshopped in. I think that's just the way things are done. Just remember the map, okay? Lighthouse. Going back a step again. Oh, there's a lighthouse again. Yeah, okay. We can see what's going on there. I think that's all Photoshop. Maybe you'll say, no, it's not. It's all real photo, don't you know? And we'll go to the original one last. Remember the map. And this is a different map. Okay, and I'm thinking maybe, again, there's the characters. I'm putting out this Toby there. Putting out the characters. Bertie the Boo-Boo. And I'm thinking, yeah. I'm sort of thinking all that's been photoshopped in. Maybe I'm right. Or maybe I'm wrong. While I'm at this older busy book, and have you seen the price of this one online? Crikey Charlies, there is a character in here we will get out. If I'm very careful, I'll be able to go to the right section. And it's Harold. Okay. Yeah, so yes, remember the glory of how good it used to be. Well, straight away I can say this looks like they're from two totally different franchises. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Harold and how he should be seen. Take note of the red tips on the rear rotor blades and the main rotor blades. The red line down the side, Harold written on the side. We've got a green light on this side. We've got some painted wheels on the bottom. It's frippin' incredible, actually. We've got a happy, chirpy little face, because Harold's a good dude. The red line goes underneath there, giving him like a chin. And we've got a red light on this side. Harold written down the side again. It's all good. This is the glory of the My Busy books in a frippin' bygone era. But man, we have drifted so far. And here comes the abomination Harold. And frippin' hell. Oh my frippin' God. Who signed off on this in multiple ways? Who thought this was a good idea? Flippin' hell. I better not. If I keep talking, they're going to call the lawyers on me. Just let the one I'm holding up in front of the camera do all the talking. Flippin' God. Oh my God. Maybe the worst Harold was, I don't know whether I've got one or not, the Thomas Wood Harold, the unpainted version. Oh my God. I'll show you underneath as well. It just gets worse and worse the more you look at this thing. Man, I just could have done a dedicated video on that there versus that there, and I think I could have got 1 billion views on YouTube. The people who make all these big decisions must sort of say to themselves, oh, who's ever going to look back in time and notice how things have changed and blah, 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 we can charge whatever we like and we'll get away with it. Well, no, you don't actually get away with it. We do notice. And I'll put the good Harold and the way Harold should be done back with the good stuff, eh? Just on a few other very small matters which I feel are important. Now, I spoke about these styles of books when I looked at Thomas and Friends merch, which wasn't in store, and I said, where is this style of book these days? I knew I had some of these. I think these are fantastic, and when I looked in store, I could see every other franchise represented, but I couldn't see Thomas and Friends, and it should be the AEG version now. Of course, this is the old style, but then again, we can go back to this as the new style, can't we? When AEG folds. That's my theory of what's going on. Put that aside gently. I have found, and I showed this briefly in that other video, but I never got around to showing it. It's, if I see anything AEG, and this is AEG style, that's a colouring in book. It was only $4 at my local favourite retailer, without saying Kmart, and I thought to myself, fantastic. I'm starting to see some Thomas and Friends stuff in the lead up to Christmas, which is really important. You know, this is when you need to have stuff in store. But what semi-disturbed me, I can't show you too many pictures in here, is when I see a picture like this, and it reminded me of what bugged people about Chuggington. And I used to see a lot of people saying, we don't like Chuggington because we kept seeing the trains jumping the rails. And I think it's that style of picture that really bugs a lot of people. The fact that you can see it's on the tilt, it looks like it's about to have a crash, and that disturbs a lot of people who are heavily into trains, if you know what I mean. Okay? Just reminded me of the whole Chuggington tilt thing, the way they used to jump when they talked, and a lot of people didn't like that. And I think Thomas got into that sort of movement as well, and I remember people saying how much they didn't like it. I mean, these trains need to be cemented to the tracks, unless they're getting crashed by troublesome trucks. I just reached into the darkness, I found something frippin' awesome, and it's about time I found this stuff. I went into the city and I had a look at two major retailers in the lead up the final few days to Christmas, and I found this stuff at the right price in store. Okay, of course it's Perthy, and I got it at the right price, and it's $19.99, $20 in Australia. It was at Hobbyco in the city store. It was actually a lot of Thomas Wood stuff. It was very interesting to see what's going on there. This model is spectacular. Okay, this is the way it should be done. This is absolute premium Thomas and Friends stuff, and this is what we want to see, and this is what we only want to see. Okay, licensed to 2022, and I find it in store right up hard up against 2024. I just love delays. Everyone else has shown this online apart from me. Okay, everyone's beaten me to it, so there's probably no use even me showing it online, talking about it. I also found more diesels. I found some diesels at a shop in Chatswood. But this one was the Myer City store, and it had 15% off, so the price was $19.99 minus 15%. I can't do my math, because if I did maths I wouldn't be stuffing around on YouTube. I'd be a rocket scientist, wouldn't I? On the back here, it's licensed 2021 to 2022, so it's an in-betweener, whether that's good, bad or indifferent. And again, it's a spectacular, this is frippin' awesome looking. It's a very, very interesting rendition of diesel. I just love it. It's premium. We want more of this, please. But it's just nice to be able to get my hands on something that it's taken me so long to get this stuff. Of course, diesel and Perthy. But what's really disturbed me is I have a Thomas that's been stolen from the workshop, and I'm yet to try to work out what the hell's gone on there.
Frippin' hell! What a bunch of BS that was about my business books. I mean, hello? Who looks at a picture online and thinks that's what's going to be in the box? No one! Only this frippin' clown who did this video thinks like this, and it's wrong. It's definitely wrong, because everything you buy's got in very, very fine print. You know what it says? I'll come close and I'll whisper it in your ear. It says, things in the box may look totally different versus the picture on the box. I mean, wake up! Back off a bit! This loser has lost it. And guess who's got his favourite Thomas? Do you see what's in my hands here? I've been hunting this all year, and it's frippin' heavy! But I'm going to soak up its firebox and give it a massive finale, and I'm going to snap this loser! I'm going to snap him! I'm going to friggin' snap him and back off! You're getting too close! You're getting too close! Frippin' hell, that stuff's rubbish! It's a hard thing to fall, and it nearly killed me! Get out of that! That's rubbish, that stuff! Get rid of it! Maybe that goose was right!
I just heard this really strange screaming down here. What the frippin' hell was going on down here? Well, that's a bit strange. I'm sure I had these in a neat pile over here. Maybe Bubbles come down here. She's a bit naughty and she gets inquisitive. I dare say it was Bubble. I'll put these here in a nice pile. You know what cats are like. Cats can do really strange stuff.